question to a Republican congressman, Tim Burchett of Tennessee, about the fact that they would be going up against someone who would be the first black South Asian woman who could be president of the United States and what that means for the Republican campaign.
Biden said, first off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president, and that he just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group? It just, when you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
So are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%. She was a DEI hire. He said he was going to hire, and she didn't. Her record is abysmal at best.
Hello! The racists are looking for a black African woman to get rid of. Have you seen her? Somebody tell Nigel, have you seen her? Nigel Farage is calling Kamala Harris a black African woman. Listen in.
I cannot see the Democrat Party getting rid of a black African woman. I just cannot see it.
I can't see it either, Nigel, because there is no black African woman running to be the Democratic Party's candidate for U.S. president. Do you see dead people too, Nigel? If you do not understand what Nigel Farage has done by referring to Kamala Harris as a black African woman, welcome to white supremacy for dummies. Let's get stuck in. It is factually incorrect to refer to Kamala Harris as a black African woman, and Nigel Farage knows this, but he has intentionally done so because of the racist and misogynoir connotations attached to the words. Black and African have racist connotations attached to them, and woman in the context of black African has misogynoir connotations attached to it. And so what he's basically doing is inciting and aggravating a racist, bigoted, misogynoir attack against her because of the color of her skin. Why? One of the key reasons is to make her look like the other. She does.
All right, guys. So right before Trump picked J.D. Vance to be his VP, I argued in a video that Trump needs to be considering the possibility that Kamala Harris will be at the top of the ticket, because that changes the dynamics of the race in regards to how you can attack Kamala Harris. And at the time, I said his VP pick would be extremely important just for this scenario, okay? Because Democrats and the media are going to try their best to make this election about racism, sexism, bigotry, hatred. They're going to do that in order to shield any type of criticism of Kamala Harris, okay? And at the time, I said that, well, you know, if Trump picks somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, that could be the best pick to deal with a situation like this, because then the conversation is not veered off into racism, sexism, because they can't pull that card against Tulsi Gabbard, and it becomes about policy. And we know when it comes to policy, Kamala Harris's record is indefensible, which is why Tulsi Gabbard destroyed Kamala Harris's Democrat primary campaign single-handedly, because the debate was not about bigotry. It wasn't about hate. They couldn't do that. It was about policy, okay? And again, like I told you guys at the time, I said, if Kamala Harris becomes the nominee, they're going to make it about everything except policy. And lo and behold, what is the media talking about on the first day? The first day of Kamala potentially being the nominee. It looks like she's going to be the nominee. Well, Trump's attacks against Kamala is hateful, bigoted, sexist, racist. And this is what she's going to be experiencing the whole campaign. This is what they're saying in the media.
And I've heard from inside Republican circles and right-wing media that the hate campaign against Kamala Harris has begun. You'll notice they purposefully pronounce her name wrong. They say Kamala. They do it all the time. It is on purpose. But the talk is to start that hate campaign and get it going and start it churning.
She has been a partner in the Biden-Harris administration. She is part of why we got so much done in the last 4 years, and she has the agenda for the next 4 years. It's already started to be unveiled by President Biden. That's her agenda as well. She's going to put her own stamp on it. But what she needs is our faith in her and our willingness to fight back for her as we hear all of what we know are going to be a lot of misogynistic, sexist, racist attacks on her. We got to be ready. So, are you all ready?
Yes.
Okay, this is for the folks who are really scared about what happened, who are really scared that Kamala cannot bring this over the finish line. Asking voters to vote for Joe Biden was gaslighting at a fundamental level. Sure, we think he's done a fabulous job. It would be wonderful if he was vigorous enough to keep serving for another 4 years, but let's be real. He's not. He's not. And so we were going to be encouraging voters to vote for a guy, until he peters out. That's not really what our country deserves. We deserve excitement. We deserve progress. We deserve a candidate who we believe is going to go out there and be as vigorous as she can be. And I believe Kamala can do that. So fundamentally for me, I'm thrilled that I don't have to be a gaslighter like the Republican Party. That feels really good. Now, I know a lot of people are worried because people say we're in this position because of racism. And yeah, I think that's part of it. I think we're in this position because people could not stand that a black man was president for 8 years and then he knocked it out of the park most of the time. I think people had a really hard time with that. The people who had a really hard time with that are men, white men who are really afraid of losing power. Well, guess what? They're losing power. That's happening. And I have to believe that the racists in this country are in the minority. I don't think the majority of people want Project 2025 to drop in here. I don't think the majority of the country thinks that Trump is sane and stable. I don't think that the majority of the country wants J.D. Vance, the guy who wants women to stay in violent marriages, to be our vice president. I think people can really get behind Kamala. And I think any of the choices for vice president will only boost it because we've got some good choices. Let's be honest, the old folks have really been eclipsing the young talent, and there is young talent. So I get it. You're afraid that a bunch of the white dudes in the middle of the country who really liked Biden, who really felt comfortable with Biden, aren't going to vote for a black woman. You know what? If we give in to that bullshit, then who are we?
Yeah, so you see now you heard that. Okay, Mika Brzezinski saying that it is a hate campaign to mispronounce Kamala's name. Okay, because apparently, again, the way you pronounce her name is Kamala, but some people pronounce it Kamala. Now, again, I'm not entirely sure how that is hateful to mispronounce her name, especially consider how she doesn't have a common name. Okay, her name is unique. Okay, and when you have a unique name, people are going to mispronounce it, right? And I'm the king of mispronouncing names and words. So, hey, right? I didn't know I was being hateful when I accidentally mispronounced somebody's name. Apparently, that's how it works. Now, you have The View and Democrat Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal already declaring that Kamala Harris is going to face misogyny, bigotry, sexism, racism. That is the nature of the attack she's going to face from her critics, right? She's already setting it up. This is what they're already saying. Already. Couldn't wait one day. Couldn't wait one day. They're saying the attacks are hateful, right? Already declaring it. Is anybody surprised? No, nobody's surprised. And here's the icing on the cake, right? Here's the icing on the cake. If you are one of these white male Joe Biden fans that live out in the Midwest somewhere, which I'm not sure if those people actually exist, but apparently they do, okay? Then, hey, you need to vote for Kamala Harris or else you're racist, right? This is also what is being said, okay? The white people who say, hey, you know what? I'm not sure if I want Kamala to be president of the United States, but yet they voted for Joe Biden. Yeah. The only explanation for why you're refusing to support Kamala is that you're racist. So you have Democrats already calling their base of supporters racist if they don't get behind this ticket that was the result of a coup against Joe Biden, right? That's what's happening, okay? You guys understand what's going on here? The identity politics game is about to be turned up to a level we have never seen before in this country, guys. I'm telling you. And again, this is why at the time I was like, man, if I was Trump, I would strongly consider picking Tulsi, because if you pick Tulsi, you neutralize a vast majority of this stuff, right? You neutralize it, okay? Because the last thing that Democrats want to talk about, that Kamala Harris wants to talk about, is policy. They want the 2024 election to be about the white man versus the black woman. This is what they want. This is what they want. This is what they're going to make it about. And if they make it about that, that is the method they can use to avoid talking about anything else, okay? Outside of abortion, right? They want to talk about abortion. They want to talk about sexism. They want to talk about race. This is what they want to do. They want to run Hillary 2.0. This is what Kamala is, okay? Because that is what Hillary's campaign was about the whole time, right? Hillary's campaign was about sexism, Trump a bigot, Trump a man, misogyny, hate. That's what the 2016 election was, okay? But you know why Trump won? You know why Trump won? It's because when he hit Hillary on policy, that is when he was performing at his best.
She complains that Donald Trump took advantage of the tax code. Well, why didn't she change it? Why didn't you change it when you were a senator? The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do. And I do. You have provisions in the tax code that, frankly, we could change. But you wouldn't change it because all of these people give you the money so you can take negative ads on Donald Trump. And I say that about a lot of things. You know, I've heard Hillary complaining about so many different things over the years. Oh, we should have done this. But she's been there for 30 years. She's been doing this stuff. She never changed, and she never will change. She never will change.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
And that is why my message to the Trump campaign, if anybody's listening, right, keep it about policy. Keep it about policy. If Trump sticks to policy, there's absolutely no way Kamala Harris can beat Trump, right? She can't do it. She can't do it, okay? If you make it about policy. However, if you get into the weeds of woke identity politics, that is when you get into the territory of talking about things that is not going to benefit the American people and it's not going to help out the Trump campaign, right? So, in my opinion, again, Trump, keep it about substance, right? The border, keep it about Afghanistan, keep it about the economy, keep it about Kamala Harris being tied to the Biden administration, okay? Keep it about her as an individual, as vice president, right? And he'll be fine. And I'm sure he will, okay? The media will make things up, right? They'll say, oh, well, the Republican ads that feature Kamala's lab, they're racist, right? Or they're sexist. They'll say stuff like that. But here's what I think is going to happen, guys. Here's what I think. If they actually roll with Kamala, right? We don't know that for sure, but it looks like they're going to roll with Kamala because of Nancy Pelosi coming out and endorsing Kamala. So it looks like they're going to roll with her. We'll see. I got questions about that, but that's another video in the future. I think they're going to spam the DEI card so hard during this election because they're not going to have anything else except abortion in DEI, right? That's all they're going to have. They literally have nothing else with Kamala Harris at all, right? That, and again, a bad policy record that she can't run on. She can't run on that. So that's what they're going to run on. I think they're going to spam it so much that is going to backfire. I think that you're going to have an uprising of people who are going to vote against Kamala because they're going to be so sick of the identity politics because she represents the pinnacle of identity politics, right? The people who are going to be backing her are going to be the DEI zombies, right? So these individuals, again, that's what they're going to be stomping for, right? They don't care about the policy or anything like that. They don't give a damn. All they want is their DEI queen in the White House. This is what they want, right? Because it doesn't get much woker than Kamala Harris. I think that the main reason that they're going to end up losing, besides policy and the record, the main reason is because they're going to spam that card so much that people are going to vote against it. They're going to vote against it. And if/when Kamala Harris loses, because it certainly looks like she's going to lose, right? If the election was held today, it'd be a landslide just like it would against Joe Biden. But if she loses, that will be a symbolic representation of the identity politics that have dominated America, at least over the last 20 or 30 years or so, being defeated, right? It's going to be symbolic of the American people saying, we're done with this, right? We're done with this. Oh, you must vote for me because I'm black or else you're racist, or because I'm a woman or else you're sexist. You must support having adult content for kids in school or else you're homophobic, you're transphobic. Okay. People are going to be sick and tired of the identity politics being used to justify lunacy, because that's what they do. And they're going to do that with Kamala Harris. And it's something that I think the American people are going to have a referendum on. I really do think that the 2024 election will be a referendum on identity politics. That's what it's going to be about. 100%. That's exactly what it's going to be about. Okay, this is what we're going to be talking about from now until election day if Kamala remains at the top of the ticket, right? This is what they're going to do. So again, my advice to the Trump campaign is to stick to the policies, which they will, right? I'm pretty sure they will. But Democrats are going to try to make it about identity politics regardless because they have nothing else. And I think that ultimately this is going to backfire because I really believe that the American people overall are sick and tired of this, right? I really do. So we'll see. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.